Just imagine, a cat that can't taste sweetness, but can heal wounds just by purring. Sounds like a joke, right? But this is pure science, and you're about to discover the 7 most bizarre facts about cats that are scientifically true. And this is just the beginning. 1. They're almost miniature tigers. The genome of a domestic cat shares 95.6% of its sequence with a tiger, and that ancestry explains behaviors like spraying, scratching, and hunting, just like big cats do. And it's not just genetics, those ancient instincts are visible in their jumps, ambushes, and head rubs. That's them marking you as their territory. 2. They are completely insensitive to sweet flavors. While humans have around 9,000 taste receptors to enjoy sugar, cats only have about 473, and they lack the gene needed to detect sweetness, proving they are strict carnivores. So that tub of ice cream in your freezer, it means absolutely nothing to them. 3. They can see perfectly in the dark. Cats can see in light levels 6 to 8 times lower than humans, thanks to a mirror-like layer behind the retina called the tapetum lucidum and a high number of rod cells. But they're also nearsighted. They see best up to about 30 centimeters in front of them, which is why they stare blankly until you're close. 4. They always land on their feet. It's called the writing reflex. What happens when you tape them together? With an ultra-flexible spine and no fixed collarbone, kittens develop this reflex between 3 and 9 weeks old. Basically, they're tiny ninjas, and the famous buttered toast paradox plays with this. If buttered toast falls butter side down, but a cat always lands on its feet. 5. Purring heals everything. It's not just a comfort sound. Purring produces vibrations between 25 and 150 Hz, a frequency that stimulates bone growth, reduces pain, and heals wounds. And here's the wild part. Cats also purr when they're in pain, using it as a form of self-therapy. 6. They can have extra toes. It's called polydactyly. A genetic quirk sometimes gives cats more than the standard 18 toes, with some cats like Jake, the record holder, having up to 28. Sailors used to consider polydactyl cats good luck, and those extra toes help them balance on the high seas. 7. They have almost human-like memory and intelligence, with about 250 million neurons in the cerebral cortex, close to small bear species. Cats show neuroplasticity, long-term memory of up to 10 years, and learning by observation. They recognize their owner's voice, remember places and objects. They just don't feel like participating in lab tests. Now that you've seen how cats are wired for survival, healing, and even silent rebellion against lab experiments, let's go deeper into the bizarre science behind these mysterious creatures. You might think you know cats, but science keeps proving they're far more complex than they let on. For instance, their brains are more similar to ours than a dog's. According to a study from Tufts University, a cat's brain is about 90% structurally similar to the human brain, even more than dogs. The regions responsible for emotion, memory, and decision-making are nearly identical in form. That explains their complex emotions, their incredible memory, and why you can't trick a cat the same way twice. It also explains those long, judgmental stares. They're not just looking at you, they're calculating. They communicate in ways you're probably not noticing. Most people think meowing is their main form of communication, but cats developed meows mainly to interact with humans, not with other cats. With each tail flick, slow blink, ear rotation, or whisker twitch, they're expressing something subtle, often way more than what a bark or chirp can convey. A study by Dr. John Bradshaw from the University of Bristol showed that cats actually train their owners to respond to their signals. That means, you don't train the cat trains you. They don't just purr for comfort, they purr to manipulate. In 2009, a study published in Current Biology revealed that cats use a solicitation purr, a purring sound with a high-frequency cry embedded inside it. It mimics the frequency of a baby's cry, triggering a caregiving response in humans without us even realizing it. Translation: your cat knows how to emotionally hack your brain. Their whiskers work like radar. Whiskers, or vibrissae, are deeply rooted in a cat's face and connected to the nervous system. Acting almost like touch-sensitive antennae, they can detect air movements, vibrations, and even map out tight spaces. That's how a cat can jump flawlessly onto narrow ledges in total darkness or avoid knocking over a single object on a cluttered shelf. Unless they want to. If you ever see your cat freeze at the doorway, It's probably using its whiskers to scan the space before entering. They can survive falls from extreme heights. But only sometimes. The cat riding reflex isn't the only thing at play. Cats that fell from 7 floors or higher were more likely to survive than those falling from 2 or 3. A 1987 study published in the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association reviewed over 130 cases of cats falling from high-rises, and surprisingly, why? Because after about 6 stories, cats reach terminal velocity and begin to relax their bodies, distributing the impact more evenly. It's basically feline physics, and a bit of a miracle. They can smell with their mouths. That's strange. Open-mouthed grimace your cat makes after sniffing something isn't disgust. It's called the Feline response. By curling back their lips and opening the Jacobson's organ on the roof of their mouth, cats analyze pheromones and chemical signals. It's how they interpret mood, territory, and even potential mates. All by tasting the air. They form emotional attachments. They just don't show it, like dogs do. A 2019 study from Oregon State University found that cats form secure attachments to their humans similar to infants and dogs. In experiments, over 64% of cats showed behaviors classified as secure attachment, meaning they rely on their humans for safety and comfort. They may not jump into your lap every 5 minutes, but when they rub against your legs or follow you from room to room, that's pure affection. Feline style. Now that you know the science behind whiskers, purring, brain structure, and even aerial physics, it's time to talk about what this really means, not just for cats, but for us, the humans who live with them. Because behind every weird feline behavior, there's a reason grounded in evolution, neuroscience, or survival instinct. But what's more surprising is how many of these bizarre traits actually help us, and not just them. Let's talk about practical takeaways. What can we learn from this? If your cat suddenly starts hiding or stops purring, that's a red flag. Purring is a self-healing mechanism. It's the feline version of saying, "I trust you." And yes, it's not just mischief. It could be curiosity, boredom, or even communication. You can even blink back. Maybe it's sensing subtle vibrations, sounds, or scents you can't detect. But its absence can indicate pain or illness. That slow blink your cat gives you. When your cat knocks something off a table, they choose to live with us, not because they have to, but because at some point in history, they realized we were useful, warm, and possibly Some researchers believe cats can detect certain seismic or electromagnetic changes in the environment before humans can. And if your cat seems to stare at nothing, maybe it isn't nothing. Just maybe, all those bizarre little things they do are exactly what make them perfect. In fact, cats don't just adapt to our world, they bring their own mystery to it. Maybe that's why some cats run before earthquakes, or stare into corners where no one else sees anything. So what does all this bizarre science tell us? Biologically efficient, emotionally aware beings. That cats are not just quirky, they are highly evolved. They manipulate us with sound, see the world in dimensions we can't, and navigate reality using a sensory map that is far more advanced in certain areas than ours, from cute companions to complex beings. And yet, this changes how we see them, from pets to partners in survival. And maybe, the more we realize how much we don't know, in the end, and the more we understand them, maybe that's what makes them so fascinating. They're not trying to be understood, they're just being cats.